All right. So I think we're live. I think we're getting started here for another week of some crazy track and field, results across the board. There was some real good stuff that went down this weekend. And really even today, right? We saw some crazy stuff today, but appreciate everyone. Appreciate y'all. We're gonna get started in a few to do a couple things. We're gonna recap a little bit of the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. I already did a little recap on the City Smack channel, so definitely check that out. Also going to preview the Millrose games. That's going to be going down on Sunday, so that's going to be super super exciting. And then of course talk about some of the other results that we've seen, across the board. And yeah, we're gonna see how a lot of things are coming up this week and in the coming weeks. There's a lot that's going to be coming up, and I'm super super excited to see how things kind of unfold, especially after this weekend. This weekend was kind of crazy for the most part in terms of all the people, who were really showing up. So we're gonna dive into a couple things. Definitely let me know if we're gonna talk about a different, couple different results, but be sure, just like every week, be in the chat. Let me know some of the other results that you might want to let me know to highlight, different things like that. But let's start off with that New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. So I'm going to do a very, very quick kind of recap and highlight of the meet. I really did appreciate, all the different results that some of the athletes were able to put down. Couple things I want to highlight with this. So first off, the men's 60-meter dash. So again, already we spoke about it a lot. There's tons and tons of videos about the men's 60-meter dash already, but I do just want to highlight some implications coming off Noah Lyles, Akeem Blake, Ronnie Baker, Fred Curley. Noah Lyles, of course, his 6.44 personal best, dropped it from 6.51 seconds. This is a big deal. Obviously, everyone's been saying it, but this is a really, really big deal. If you're talking about someone who already doesn't have a good start in his race, right? He was way, way behind Akeem Blake. He was actually slightly behind. I think he was maybe even or so with like Fred Curley and all them, but he was. I think he's going to run 9.7 outdoors. I think he's on pace for 9.7 outdoors. I think he really is going to do some serious damage when we're talking about that 100-meter dash. And man, I don't know what we might be in store for. Some people were telling me, like, of course, 9.7. Other people were telling me, like, he could run 9.6. I don't know about 9.6. I don't know if I'm ready to say he can run 9.6, but I do think that he's on pace for something very, very fast. Noah Lyles put in some good work this weekend. And 6.44, it proves that, get his start right, he might be a problem. Now, I don't know if I'm ready to say he's going to win World Indoors yet, right? We still have to see what Christian Coleman is going to do this weekend at the Millrose Games. Christian Coleman is a world record holder. Christian Coleman has a world indoor title from 2018, but Noah, he's putting in, some good work. But also do, of course, Akeem Blake. Akeem Blake was really close just behind Noah. Noah ran him down a little bit, but 6.45 for Akeem Blake. This is a good performance for Akeem Blake coming out of Jamaica. He didn't make the 100-meter team to the World Championships last year, just got edged out, finishing 4th place at Jamaican Trials. But for him to be kicking off his season, yes, I know he ran 6.41 or 6.42 outdoors already, but indoors 6.45. This is a really big performance and does at least give him some confidence, right? We saw him have some hiccups at the end of last year in terms of the 100-meter dash. Of course, like I said, didn't make the team. I think this gives him some good confidence as we kind of lead into the start of 2024. And I got a chance to speak with Nesta Carter while I was at in Boston, and I'm sorry, not Nesta Carter. Apologies. I got a chance to speak with Michael Frater, who coaches Akeem Blake, as well as Brianna Williams and some other people, right? And Michael Frater was saying that, Akeem Blake, they're going to see if he gets selected. He's probably going to get selected for World Indoors, but they're just going to kind of train because obviously the goal is outdoors. But apparently Akeem Blake is going to be running some 200s this year. Not saying like he's going to make the team or he's going to be like a 200-meter runner, but just the idea that, we're going to see him in some 200s, which is a big deal because that's going to be super, super helpful for his 100-meter dash. But yeah, we're going to see. And then, of course, shout out to Ronnie Baker. I do want to give him a huge shout out, as Ronnie Baker has been dealing with some injuries over the past couple of years. He's he's been, up and down with injuries and really has a lot of potential. Remember, he made the Olympic 100-meter final in 2021 in Tokyo. He also got the bronze medal at the World Indoor Championships in 2018, which was the year that Christian Coleman was, breaking the world records and all that. But Ronnie Baker might be one to look out for if he's already running 6.5. Listen, don't sleep on Ronnie Baker. And finally, Fred Curley. Now, I know a lot of people were saying that this was not a great result for Fred Curley. This was kind of like, not too good. This is his first 60-meter dash. In the heats, he ran 6.57, and then he finished here with 6.55. That actually gives me a lot of hope for what might be possible outdoors. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to run his personal bests or win gold or any of that. I can't make those predictions yet, but just for a little bit of comparison, I don't want to compare the two too much, but think Hoah Lyles last year. He finished his season running 6.51 indoors in the 60-meter dash, and he ran a couple races. Fred Curley opened up his season, his first time ever running the 60-meter dash, and he runs 6.55. To me, that gives a good indication that he is in some good form. He's been working well with Quincy Watts. Shout out to Quincy Watts. I got a chance to speak with him while I was in Boston as well. And I don't know, Fred Curley might be back on his stuff, man. He might be back in the fold and, really going for that gold. Of course, we know he wants that gold. He didn't have a good performance last year, not making the 100-meter final. Shout out to Fred Curley. I think it's a good performance for Fred Curley. But yeah, overall, just quick recap of the men's 60-meter dash. Going to be looking forward to the Millrose games, which we'll preview in just a moment here as well. But, I appreciated kind of all the things we saw in the 60-meter dash. Noah surprised me, but 9.7, no way. That's crazy. Listen, put it into perspective. Hoah Lyles last year ran a personal best of 6.51 seconds in the 60-meter dash. Then outdoors, he ran 6.83 seconds, and he also ran 6.8, I think, one other time. So if now at this point, he's already running 6.44, so significantly faster indoors in the 60-meter dash, and he ran down Akeem Blake, right? Look at his splits. He was behind Akeem Blake all the way until literally the 60 meters. If he's already run 9.83 outdoors, I can't say that he's not going to run 9.79. I honestly think he could run like 9.76, 9.75, if not faster. Now, I'm not saying he's going to run 9.6. I can't make that prediction yet, but I do think he's very much capable of running 9.7. Very, very much capable based on this performance. Now, we still have a whole season to go, right? We still have a whole outdoor season to get started with, but at least in my prediction, I think he could run 9.7. But I will say, to be clear, I know people he's a defending, world champion in the 100. But in my opinion, I still think the 100-meter dash is very wide open. I still think it's wide open. I don't want to proclaim that anyone is the clear favorite for the 100-meter dash gold when we get to Paris later on in the summer, but still think it's wide open. But yeah, I mean, Hoah Lyles, the worst thing that everyone else let him do is win the 100-meter gold, because that confidence is obviously through the roof. But yeah, so that's just some of the men's 60-meter dash. I do want to talk about two other races here. Actually, not the men's 60-meter hurdles, actually the women's 60-meter hurdles here in Boston. This race was arguably, I think this is overlooked for, how amazing this race overall was, and, what it probably means as we look forward to 2024. Tia Jones is still, I think she's still 23 years old or 22. She's like super, super young, and she ran 7.72 seconds. Just for some context, let me pull up the all-time list, right? That brings her to number 5 all-time in the 60-meter hurdles indoors. 7.72 seconds for Tia Jones. That is not too far off the world record. We're talking 400ths of a second off the world record indoors. And Tia Jones she's only turning 24 years old later on this summer. She's still 23 years old. I'd have to double check, but I think Akira Nugent, obviously she's run 7.72, but both of them are the youngest ever to run that time. I think this really, really gives some huge implications of what might be possible for Tia Jones and what might be possible when we're talking about the hurdles. Just behind Tia Jones as well was Tobi Amusan, who ran 7.75 for another African record. Remember, she ran 7.77. I think it was just a week or two ago, right? So this is really, really, strong in terms of the women's 60-meter hurdles. And I think this has some amazing, amazing implications on what's going to happen outdoors. Shout out to Devon Charlton, 7.76. The fact that Charlton ran 7.76 and finished in 3rd place, like that just shows the depth of the women's hurdles at this moment. That doesn't even include Jasmine Camacho Quinn. That doesn't include Kenny Harrison, Nia Ali, right? All these women who are still in the mix, they're not even in this race. When we get to Millrose this weekend, we are going to see a couple of them. I know that Devon Charlton is going to be at Millrose and a couple other women as well. Tia Jones, I think, is going to be at Millrose. So adding in Nia Ali, adding in a couple other women. So listen, Akira Nugent's going to be running. So man, the women's 60-meter hurdles, do keep a lookout. Every single year, we always have to keep an eye on the 60-meter hurdles. This year is no different. It's really starting off on a huge, huge note. So shout out to Tia Jones, again, super, super young. She came straight out of high school, went pro, and she is really showing what she can do. So huge shout outs there with the 60-meter hurdles. Do want to talk? Let me get to some of these comments. I see some people saying, yeah, 9.7 is possible. Just going back to Hoah Lyles in the men's 60-meter dash. Yeah, 9.7 is possible. Yeah, of course, it's very much possible. Very, very much possible. It's not too crazy. Well, Nate, 6.44 Lyles not going 9.7 is crazy. Yeah, like he ran 9.83 last year outdoors off a 6.51 personal best. Like, yeah, in my opinion, he's definitely, in 9.7 shape, at least when we get to the outdoor season. So huge shout out to them. Last thing I did want to note very quickly is just the women's 300 meters. So talking about Gabby Thomas, ran a world lead, 35.75 seconds. One of the fastest times, I think, let me pull this up. I think it's in the top 10 in terms of all-time marks indoors in a 300 meter dash. Yeah, top 10. So Gabby Thomas, she's run 35.73. So just this past weekend, she ran 35.75. So 8th fastest performance ever. She said that she was going for the American record, but she was on pace for it, which would have gotten her to 35.54, but didn't get it. This was her one and done in terms of an indoor race. She said she's focusing on outdoors. I got a chance to speak with her kind of outside the race, and she wants that gold medal. She knows what she has to do to be able to get that gold medal and focus in on, getting the gold medal. Check out the video I did, not too long ago about Gabby Thomas and, what it's going to take for her to get the gold medal. Now, I'm not a coach. I'm not Gabby Thomas's coach. Shout out to Tandra Crawford-Bailey. But, just my thoughts on, what it's going to take to be able to beat Sharika Jackson, who's obviously dominating in that 200. But Gabby Thomas putting in some amazing, amazing work. Also, huge shout out to Favor Ofili. I don't know why they didn't note it here, but this was an African record in the 300 meter dash indoors. The previous person was Amanta Mancho from Botswana. She ran 36 something, but Favor Ofili got the African record with 35.99. This is, I think, one of her first professional races. I think she did open up last week, but Favor Ofili is going to be a problem. Don't forget that Favor Ofili was the first NCAA athlete ever to run sub 22 seconds in the 200 meter dash on the women's side, right? So Favor Ofili, she could make the Olympic final next year. And, if we're not careful, she could medal. Who knows, right? She could very well medal. So keep a lookout for Favor Ofili and, what she's hopefully going to be able to do. I'm very much, looking forward to all that. But yeah, excited to see how things kind of play out. Favor Ofili, where is she training? Favor Ofili trains down in LSU. So she's still coached by Dennis Shaver. She's still training with Aaliyah Hobbs, with Makai Briscoe, with some of those other sprinters there. So I think Candace Hill, I think, trains there as well. If you don't remember, Candace Hill was literally a child prodigy, right? She ran sub 11 in high school. So yeah, Favor is training down in LSU. So huge shout out to Favor going pro. She's now training with now under Adidas. So huge shout out to her. All right, so that's a little bit on the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. I do want to quickly take a look at the Millrose Games, which is going to be coming up next week actually not next week, but Sunday in New York City. Of course, I'm going to be there in Millrose. Super excited for this meet. But let's start off with that men's 60 meter dash. I mean, let me know, what you might be excited for when we're talking about Millrose. There's a lot of good races here, but men's 60 meter dash, in my opinion, this is the Christian Coleman show. Christian Coleman, this is, he's a 2-time defending champion at Millrose when we're talking about the 60 meters, won in 2022, then also won again in 2023, right? Got that race over Hoah Lyles. I think Christian Coleman, when we're talking about Millrose this coming week, he's really, really looking forward to put down a statement. If you remember, he's a 2018 World Indoor Champion. And during that indoor season in 2018, he broke the world record running 6.34 seconds. He also ran 6.3 a bunch of times. Oh, it doesn't come up here, but let me pull up. So he ran 6.3 a bunch of times during that 2018 season. And Christian Coleman does not want to be upstaged when we're talking about the 60 meter dash. Look at how many times Christian Coleman has run 6.3. 6.34 for the world record, 6.37, 6.37, 6.37, all in 2018, and then one of them in 2020. So Christian Coleman is crazy. Christian Coleman is crazy when we're talking about the 60-meter dash, and he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. When we're talking about the Millrose games this coming Sunday, I think Christian Coleman is a clear favorite here. Akeem Blake, he just ran 6.45 just behind Hoah Lyles, but Christian Coleman is the guy to beat when we're talking about the 60-meter dash. Christian Coleman is the guy to beat. Akeem Blake will, probably give him a little bit of a run for his money when we're talking about from the start, but Christian Coleman, the 60 meters is his forte. He has that explosive start, that drive phase, and he carries it through, to the finish line when we're talking about the 60. So I'm looking forward. Maybe he's going to run like six. I'm probably going to predict maybe 6'4" low, maybe 6'40", 6'41", or something like that. Again, I think he saw what Hoah Lyles did, and he wants to be like, nah, this is my event. And don't forget, both Christian Coleman and Hoah Lyles are going to be going to the World Indoor Championships. Well, of course, they have to go to the USA Championships in 2 weeks' time, but they both likely are going to qualify, and they're both likely going to be at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow. Christian Coleman does not want to lose to Hoah Lyles in the 60-meter dash. He wants to be like, nah, this is my forte, right? I'm the explosive starter. I'm the one who's able to get out quick. So we're going to see, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Christian Coleman is able to put down. Again, I think he's going to run like 6'4" low, maybe or so like that. But yeah, followed like Christian Coleman has never run faster than 6'47" without rounds. That's interesting. Interesting. Okay, so you have him around 6'47" per usual. Okay, no, we'll see. Again, I think, in my opinion, I think that Hoah Lyles running 6'44" last weekend probably lit a little bit of a fire under Christian Coleman to say, oh, nah, I need to show people. It's almost like, if you remember last year, when Hoah Lyles beat Trayvon Bromell in Boston, then a couple weeks later, Bromell went out to, I think it was Clemson, and he ran, 6'4". He ran crazy fast. And he essentially wanted to put a statement like, nah, don't forget about me. That race doesn't, showcase who I really am. I feel like Christian Coleman, again, both Christian Coleman and Hoah Lyles have said they want to go to World Indoors. Coleman might want to put down a statement. So we're going to see how, what he actually runs and what he puts down. But, I think he's going to get the win in this race for sure. Definitely going to get the win in this race. So yeah, that's a 60-meter dash when we're talking about Millrose. The other thing, I did speak a little bit about it already, but the women's 60-meter hurdles, this is another very stacked field, and I'm specifically looking at Akira Nugent here. But let me dive into this comment real quick before I get to that. Yeah, if Coleman gets beaten by Noah, I don't know what that would do for his psyche. Man, I don't know. That would be crazy. That would be crazy, right? If Coleman gets beat by Noah in the 60-meter dash. Coleman is the consummate starter, right? You can argue he's probably the best starter in the world right now. And Hoah Lyles, there's an argument to be made that right now his start is, one of the poorest, at least relative to some of the top guys, right? So if Hoah Lyles was to beat out Christian Coleman in the 60-meter dash, that would kind of be crazy. That would not only send a signal to, Coleman in terms of his psyche, but I'm not too worried about Coleman. Coleman is, super, super confident, regardless if he wins or loses a race. But I think that would set the tone for the rest of the field, saying like, oh crap, like, hold on. Noah's beating the best starter in the world. Noah's beating the world champion in the 60-meter dash. I don't know. But in my opinion, man, I don't know. I have to see how kind of the 60-meter dash plays out next week when we're talking about I want to see what Christian runs. But if I was to blindly pick a favorite when we're talking about the gold medal going into World Indoor Championships, I personally would still pick Christian Coleman, only because the 60-meter dash is his forte. He knows what to do. He gets that explosive start. He knows how to carry it through. That's what I would say. But, we're going to see. We have to see, they're both going to be running at USA, so we're going to see. But yeah, let's talk about that women's 60-meter hurdles. This is, again, one of the best competitions, when we're talking about this year. So like I said, Tia Jones, she just came off a 7.72 second personal best, number 5 all time. We also have Akira Nugent. She's run 7.72 seconds last year to win the NCAA championships. You also have Danielle Williams, outdoor world champion from in the 100-meter hurdles from Budapest. Cindy Sember, she was just in Boston. She's been super consistent. Sharika Nelvis, shout out to her. She's coming back from some setbacks over the past couple of years. But she's always in the mix. Nia Ali is a 2-time world indoor champion in the 60-meter hurdles. 2014 and 2016, Nia Ali won the gold medal indoors in the 60-meter hurdles. So she is always in the mix. She doesn't compete for Uganda. I don't know why they gave her the Uganda. Of course, Nia Ali, we know she's American. And Megan Tapper, as well as Devin Charlton. Devin Charlton, she got the silver medal at the World Indoor Championships last year. I'm sorry, 2 years ago in Serbia. She's going for gold, when we're talking about World Indoors. I got a chance to speak with her, in Boston as well. And she's going for gold. I have a lot of confidence in Devin Charlton. Not saying she's going to 100% get gold. It's very stacked. But Devin Charlton, she's one to look out for. Also, shout out to Megan Tapper. Megan Tapper, she actually set a personal best indoors in Boston, but I think it was 8.02 seconds, but she finished kind of down the pack. But Megan Tapper, don't forget that she's the bronze medalist from the Tokyo Olympics in 2020. So she's always going to be in the mix. The Jamaican women in the hurdles are definitely going to be a problem. So look out for all these women in the hurdles. Tia Jones is the woman to beat this indoor season. Tia Jones is putting on a clinic, and check out the interview I did with her. It's on the Citius Mag YouTube channel. Tia Jones moved to Tandra Buford-Bailey, so she's now training with, of course, Gabby Thomas and Tamara Clark and, some of those other women, but she also has a training partner in Christina Clemens. And Christina Clemens, she's a 2018 World Indoor silver medalist in the 60-meter dash. So Tia Jones has a very, very strong support system with her when we're talking about hurdlers. And her coach, Tandra Buford-Bailey. Tandra Buford-Bailey, literally one of the greatest hurdlers in history. So she has a great, great system behind her. So shout out to Tia Jones, and looking forward to see. I wouldn't be surprised if someone in this women's 60-meter hurdles would not be surprised if someone runs 7.70 seconds or faster. Who knows? Who knows? Keep a lookout for that women's 60-meter hurdles. I'm super excited to see kind of how that plays out. Last thing I do want to talk about in Millrose, there's a plethora of different things going on. We, of course, do have the women's 60-meter dash, and this is another stacked field. Julian Alfred, I'm going to talk about her in a second, as she just ran a season's best of 7.04 seconds, I think it was. But Julian Alfred is going to be really riding this field. Now, one thing is that Dina Asher-Smith was supposed to be running, but if you saw this past weekend, she ran the 200 along with Julian Alfred, and Dina Asher-Smith pulled up in about 100 meters into the race. So don't know if she's like truly injured or maybe it's just a setback, but she unfortunately pulled out of this Millrose Games women's 60-meter dash. So not going to get to see her versus Julian Alfred here, but looking forward to seeing what Julian Alfred is able to do. I'm looking to see if she's able to run sub 7 seconds, right? The world lead was just broken today by Iwa Swoboda, who ran 7.01. We'll talk about that in a second, but Julian Alfred is on a roll this season. So we're going to see how things kind of go with that. No, is Brianna good? I think she should be good. So at the Boston Indoor Games, she pulled up about 40 to 50 meters into the race, and then she kind of walked off the track. I don't know if they showed it on TV, but she kind of just walked off the track, went to the medical side. I think maybe it's a little something. I obviously didn't get a chance to talk with her after, but hopefully she's healthy. Hopefully she's good. Brianna Williams, man, she has a lot to go, man. She has a lot to really put in terms of hopefully getting back to things, right? She's been one of the young amazing athletes when we're talking about Jamaican sprinting, and she had some great years, and Jamaican women have really been stepping things up. And Brianna Williams, I don't want to see her kind of get left back in the pack. I want to see her really thrive to the potential that we all know her for. So hopefully she's healthy. Hopefully she's all good. They said Brianna had a cramp. Good. So hopefully a cramp shouldn't be too bad. If you remember last year at the LA Grand Prix, Brianna also pulled up in a race and she had a little bit of a cramp, but she ended up running super fast afterwards. So if it's a cramp, no worries. That should be good, and she'll be back in the fold. So really looking forward to the 60-meter dash here. Also want to talk about the women's 300 meters. Now, the women's 300 meters is going to be looking good. Rashida Adeleke. Now, Rashida Adeleke is, man, Adeleke running the 300-meter dash is going to be a huge, huge problem for a lot of people. She is the definition of an all-around sprinter. She's super, she's amazing at the 60 meters. She's amazing at the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 400 meters. She's amazing across the board. Let me just pull up very quickly the women's, what Rashida Adeleke has done. Rashida Adeleke in 2024, I think she already did set, oh, maybe she didn't. So she's been really cooking kind of over the past couple of years, but I think she did already set a national record. I don't know why it's not coming up, but this is for outdoors. Let me bring up the short track, but Adeleke may do some damage when we're talking about the 300-meter dash. indoors at Millrose. Just want to bring up Adeleke and what she's done. I thought she actually ran. Interesting. So Adeleke didn't run the 200 meters indoors yet. I thought she actually had. But she has a personal best of 22.52 seconds indoors in the 200 meter dash. She, of course, has run 49 seconds outdoors. She's run 36.8 seconds indoors in the 300. I honestly think that Adeleke could very well run like 35.7 indoors when we're talking about the 300 meters. I think she has a lot of potential. She's that amazing kind of all-around sprinter. Again, from 60 meters all the way up to 400, Rashida Adeleke is a problem. And she is one that is, she could, low-key, I'm going to be honest, she could win gold in the 400-meter dash outdoors. Again, I'm not making a prediction. I'm not saying she's going to win gold, but all I'm saying is that she can very well win gold if people are caught sleeping. Yeah, okay, good. Thanks, Elias. I knew she had run a personal best this year. Adeleke ran 22.4 this year, but it wasn't at an event on the World Athletic Calendar. Thanks for confirming. I knew she had run a personal best and national record in the 200 this year. So 22.4 seconds for Adeleke this year already. Now she's stepping it up to the 300 indoors. Listen, I think I agree. Adeleke can run 35.5 seconds. I think she very well can run that. So we're going to see how things kind of play out and how things kind of pan out. I'm excited to see this, but don't sleep on Talitha Diggs. Never forget, Talitha Diggs is the NCAA champion from some years back. She's been super, super consistent, year in, year out. And now this is her first full year as a pro. I don't think she's opened up her season yet. I for some reason, I saw her on the list for Boston, but she didn't run there. But yeah, Talitha Diggs, man, she's gonna, bring some. Hopefully, I want to see her run like 35 as well. But I don't know what she's gonna put down. But keep a lookout for Rashida Adeleke. Adeleke is a problem not only now, but also as we go outdoors. I mean, I tried to tell you, I think it was last year where, I did a video really early on in the season about Adeleke, and she went on to have an amazing outdoor season. Don't sleep on her. If you're already sleeping, don't sleep. She is a problem. So shout out to Rashida Adeleke, and, hopefully you see some good things from her this coming weekend. But yeah, that's kind of some of the things. Yeah, the hurdles, we're going to see Trey Cunningham, Daniel Roberts, Cordell Tinch. They're all going to be in the mix here. Going to be super exciting to see how things kind of play out. Yeah, shout out to Olia for jumping in. And yeah, he has run 6.46. Oh yeah, that's from before. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see how things kind of play out at Millrose games. It's going to be really, really exciting this coming weekend. Casey is running 35 seconds, the new normal in the 300. Listen, at this point, if you're talking about the 300-meter dash, there's not many women who have actually run 35 seconds consistently, right? Indoors, right? You have just a couple. Actually, you only have a few times overall in terms of women who have run 35 seconds. Privalova, Shawnee Miller-Weibo, they, of course, hold the world indoor record. You have Abby Steiner, Patricia Hall from years back in 2012, Quinera Hayes, Gabby Thomas, Merlene Oddie, Jamisha Ford did it last year. And then Brittany Brown and Lena Irby-Jackson. It's not too many women who have actually run sub 36 seconds. And it's really only been in the past couple of years. I think I did a video on Abby Steiner last year, maybe in 2022, and about the progression of the women's 300-meter dash. So definitely check that out. But yeah, it's only been in the past couple of years. If you're talking about, how many women have run sub 36 seconds from 2021, 2019, 2017, 2012, right? Most of these times are relatively recent. So we're going to see how things play out. I think Adeleke is very, very much back in the mix. Or she's going to be a problem when we talk about the 300 in Millrose. All right. So those were some of the results that I did want to talk about. I want to talk about some of the other results that we saw from this weekend, which were absolutely crazy. But very quickly, just before, I did want to give a quick shout out to some of these athletes and what they did. So a little bit of side note before we get into some other results across the world, just a little appreciation for some athletes. So I got a chance to, of course, I was at the New Balance Indoor Grand Prix. I was in Boston. Be sure to check out Citius Mag. I did a recap of the meet on their channel and also got the mixed zone interviews there. But a couple athletes that I got to speak to who I really did appreciate kind of them opening up and them kind of talking about some of the changes. So first off, Champion Allison. So check out his, again, I did an interview for him on Citius Mag. You can check that out. Champion Allison, so he changed coaches from Mike Holloway and moved over to Vince Anderson in Texas. And he was very open. I wanted to make sure I can, ask him about it before, I just do a straight interview. So I try and be as respectful to these athletes as possible. But Champion Allison, we know he ran 43.7 seconds back in the day. In 2022, he was one of the top athletes, but he dealt with injuries. And he said that he sat down with Mike Holloway and he decided to, switch coaches. It's all respect and everything is good, but really did appreciate him kind of opening up. And I'm excited to see what Champion Allison does as we go throughout the 2024 season. And stay tuned. I'm probably going to do a little profile video on Champion Allison maybe next week, just based on, his progression and, looking forward to 2024. But also did want to give a shout out to Josephus Lyles. Now, of course, he's Noah Lyles' brother, but Josephus Lyles, he was a prodigy coming out of high school in 2016. He was originally like a 400-meter runner, but he dropped down to focus on the 200 as well as 100. He ran the 60-meter dash in Boston, but didn't do that well. But I didn't interview him. I didn't want to put a camera in his face. I didn't want to, do that, especially as he didn't run that well. But, I did ask him about why he switched from Lance Brahman down in Florida with the whole Adidas training group with his brother and all that. But he's now training in Texas with Vince Anderson, also with Champion Allison, Bryce Deadman, Courtney Okolo, a couple other people are in that group as well. And he was very open that over the past couple of years, Josephus Lyles had been dealing with some injuries, right? He's been dealing with some setbacks and things just haven't been going his way. We all have seen the potential that, Josephus has put in. We all have seen the work that he's put in, but he just had some setbacks and he determined that, I needed to make a change, right? I needed to, things weren't working as they should be. So I wanted to make that change. And I appreciate that he was very open about, why he made the change. It's hard for athletes who are really going through, this is their career, right? They're working hard to be able to get to the world championships, get to the Olympics, run a personal best, run, all these top times and all that. But when things aren't working out, it's hard to say, okay, I need to make a change from something I feel comfortable in, whether it's like the environment, my family's there, I know my coach, but I need to go somewhere different. So again, just want to give a shout out to Josephus Lyles and, the work he's been putting in. I'm really excited to see, how he's able to make some progress going into the year. They're training separately now. Again, Josephus Lyles and Noah Lyles, they were both training in Florida, of course, under Lance Brahman. But Josephus, he moved to Texas with Vince Anderson. But again, at the end of the day, think about it. These athletes are human, right? Just like you have a regular job and you may be dealing with setbacks and you might not have a great day. And it might be a couple years that you're not feeling great in your career and you might just need to make a change. It's the same situation for these athletes. A lot of the times we may judge athletes based on what we see them do on the track, based on the performances they put down, based on races that they pull out of. But these athletes are human, right? Like we have to appreciate and understand that they're going to make changes. They're going to have setbacks and all kinds of things. So Josephus, he's going to be focusing on the 200. So I don't know. He's going to be focusing on the 200 for now. So huge shout outs to him. But with that, all right. So let me get back to a couple different results. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to some of these athletes, but a couple other results want to be able to talk about. First off, Hoah Swoboda. Now, Hoah Swoboda, let me pull up the women's 60-meter dash. Hoah Swoboda, actually just today, was it today that Swoboda ran the 2024? I think it was today just today. Swoboda ran 7.02 seconds in the 60-meter dash. World-leading performance for Swoboda, and she was followed very closely behind by Zainab Dosso of Italy, 7.02 seconds. Dosso, huge shout out to her. She's been making some huge progress, in the 60-meter dash this year. Already super, super consistent. I think, let me double check. Dosso ran 7.05 as well as a 7.02. Now, Swoboda, 7.01 seconds. Now, we know last year she ran 6.9 seconds, but she didn't get on the podium when we're talking about the World Indoor Championships. I think this is a good indicator, but I still want to see her get to those World Indoors this year in Glasgow and show up. If you're talking about running this consistent, she should be the gold medal favorite. She very likely could be, right? I don't know if Aaliyah Hobbs is going to run World Indoors. She pulled out of the Boston meet. She was supposed to run, this past weekend, but Hoah Swoboda is going to be out here in going to Glasgow, and she's cooking. 7.01 is no joke. So we're going to see how she kind of, keeps that consistency going. I really want to see her get on the podium. And then how is that going to translate outdoors? She's run sub 10, sub 11 outdoors a couple times already last year, but is she going to be able to be consistent? Do you think that she's going to be able to get into that 10-8 range that she needs to get on the podium? Or is she just going to be one of those, who's always in the mix, making a final or something like that? But huge shout out to Swoboda. Doso also is one to look out for. She very likely could get onto the podium indoors. So we're going to see how things kind of play out. I don't know if Julian Alfred is running a full indoor season, but we're going to see. But huge shout out to Swoboda as well as Doso. Of course, also did want to talk a little bit about Julian Alfred, keeping it in the 60-meter dash. She also ran 7.04 seconds. And let me just pull up her profile as she ran 7.04, and she also ran 22.16 seconds. Julian Alfred is on another level at this point. First season as a pro, really, really putting things into gear. 22.16 seconds. I mean, what is that? That's one of the fastest times all time. I think that's like top 4 or top 5 all time indoors. Okay, just off that, right? So top 7 all time if we're talking about 22.16 for Julian Alfred. She's on a roll this year. She is on a roll. And this is all going up to the Olympic Games, right? Julian Alfred is one who has the potential to break up the Jamaicans and the Americans when we're talking about the podium, right? Julian Alfred has the potential to be in there. Let me not just say Jamaicans and Americans. Dina Asher-Smith could very well be in there as well, right? Or Marie-José Talou could very well be in there. But Julian Alfred is one who has the potential to get onto the podium in the 100-meter dash, right? She is really gunning for it, and she knows her potential. She has a personal best of 10.81 seconds, Julian Alfred, right? But she wants to get to 10.7, which she's very likely and very capable of. And she wants to get to, 21.8, 21.7, who knows, right? Julian Alfred is a problem, and she's been super consistent already in this indoor season. And I like that she's taking a slow and steady approach. Of course, she was in the NCAA last year, but for Julian Alfred to be running, just a few races now and really getting consistent, man, I'm looking forward to seeing what Julian Alfred is able to put down in 2024. I don't know if she's going to be running World Indoors. I'm going to be at Millrose, so maybe I'll get a chance to ask her if she's going to be running a full indoor season, but we'll see. Outdoors, that is where she is focused on. KC, let me see here. Yeah, KC, so good point. 10.8 won't put anyone on the podium in the 100. Yeah, I probably agree, man. I probably agree. You're probably going to have to run 10.7 to get on the podium. And honestly, in a perfect world, you might have to run 10.6, right? Theoretically, let's say we know Shericka Jackson and Sha'Carri Richardson. They both ran 10.6 last year, right? Sha'Carri Richardson won the gold medal in 10.65, and then Shericka Jackson, she ran 10.6 at Jamaican trials. So let's just say 2 women are already kind of running 10.6. Then you have Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, who was consistently running 10.6, had setbacks last year, but this is her last Olympics, and I think she is still very much informed to run a 10.6. Then you have Elaine Thompson-Herah. Of course, she's run 10.5. We know that Olympic years, she happens to get things together. She was ending off 2023 on a very, very high note in terms of her consistency, got down to 10.7. So you could see, theoretically, 4 women run 10.6. You also had Marie-José Talou, personal best of 10.72 seconds. So it could take you 10.6 to get on the podium. I think it'll probably take 10.7 to get on the Olympic podium in the 100-meter dash. So it's going to be a problem. It's going to be super, super deep, but we're going to see what happens. Swoboda seems to be a 60-meter specialist. Her speed doesn't translate in the 100 meters, sadly. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, again, she got down to sub 11 last year, and Swoboda actually ran very consistently under 11 seconds last year. Let me double check the 2023. But yeah, she seems to be in that. She ran 10.97, 10.98, 10.94. She was consistently under 11 a couple times, but that, that 60-meter dash is her forte. Back in 2022, she ran 6.9, right? She ran 7.03. She ran 7.03, 7.04. So she seems to be replicating kind of that performance this year with 7.01, 7.04, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to see if that translates outdoors. But looking forward to it. I'm rooting for everybody at the end of the day. And I would love to see all these women running super, super fast. So hopefully we'll see what happens. Even if Julian reaches 10.7, she'll probably need 10.7 low. The 200, she can be a threat. Yeah, she'll probably need 10.7 low. Very true. Like I laid out for Julian Alfred when we're talking about the women's 100-meter dash outdoors. But But I think she could run 10.7 low. I honestly think. Don't forget, her personal best of 10.81 seconds is actually from 2 years ago. It's from 2022. Last year, and even last year, she was running slightly windy times, right? This is Julian Alfred, 10.72 seconds plus 2.4 meters per second. 10.74 plus 3.4, right? I think she had another, 10.72 with plus 2.3. So Julian Alfred is very capable of running 10.7 low. She's actually capable of running 10.6, right? And again, she's taking a more measured approach as we're looking at the 2024 season. So I actually think that Julian Alfred, I'm gonna agree. I agree that Julian Alfred can run 10.68 if she's relaxed. I agree. I think she very much can run 10.6 if she's on point, if she's relaxed. She has Dina Asher-Smith as a training partner now, someone who's like quote unquote in her range in terms of a world class 100-meter sprinter. So I think Julian Alfred is going to be a threat. Don't be surprised if she gets on the podium, right? Do not be surprised if she gets on the podium. Julian looks so aggressive. She looks like she can beat Dina. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Dina Asher-Smith. Dina Asher-Smith is one of the athletes who's going to go down as one of the best from this generation. Obviously, she's not running 10.7s, 10.6s, but she is one of the best in this generation. But if I'm making a prediction, I'm going to say Julian Alfred over Dina Asher-Smith at the moment, right? I want to see more from Dina Asher-Smith, but Julian Alfred, she is cooking. She is cooking. You said 10.72 plus 2.4 is a 10.8 in no win. She's nowhere near 10.6, unfortunately. Yes, of course, definitely. But the point that I think apologies for the noise, but the point that I think many people are making is that if she runs, let's say 10.72 with plus 2.3, let's say she has like a 2.0 wind, right? She can get to 10.7 something, right? Let's say that she has, exactly. This is a good point. Let's say that she has 1.7 win. She can get to, 10.75. And this is another year, right? This is another year better, another year of training. She's not going to be running a trillion races like she was last year. So she's going to be much more rested. I think Julian Alfred very much has the potential to get on the podium. And remember last year, even with her long NCAA season, Julian Alfred finished 5th place at the World Championships in the 100-meter dash, 5th place in the 100, and 4th place in the 200. 4th place in the 200. So now imagine her with a ton more rest, right? Imagine her with so much more rest. Julian Alfred is not one to sleep on. So definitely keep a lookout for Julian Alfred. I'm excited to see how things kind of play out with Julian Alfred. All right, so a couple others I did want to note very quickly. In the NCAA, we did have Jason Sears. She managed to run 22.57 seconds to get the NCAA lead. This was actually last weekend. This was a couple days ago. I think this is in the middle of the week. But I'm liking the women's 200-meter dash when we're talking about the NCAA right now. It's very, very, very deep. Between Jamisha Ford, right? Between Jason Sears, Amber Anning, Shanti Jackson, right? All these women, Kavona Davis, right? All these women are in the mix when we're talking about the 200-meter dash. We have 7 women under 23 seconds already. Already a woman leading at 22.57, 22.58. This is going to be a very competitive women's 200-meter dash when we get to NCAAs later on this year. I'm super, super excited to see, super excited to see what's going to be happening throughout the year. So shout out to Jason Sears. Also did want to give a quick shout out on the NCAA front as well to who's the other guy? Oh, Kennedy McCrae. So Kennedy McCrae on the men's side, 45.02 seconds for Kennedy. I'm sorry, not Kennedy McCrae. That's incorrect. Caleb McCrae. Apologies about the name. Yeah, Caleb McCrae from Alabama, 45.02 seconds at the New Mexico Classic. This gets him into the realm of, we're talking about potential NCAA, champion, potential all-time marks, right? He's only run, that's his personal best, and outdoors, I don't think he's ever broken 45 seconds, right? He's never broken 45 seconds outdoors. Didn't even make the NCAA indoor championship in terms of an individual race last year indoors. So he is a problem. He's going to be a problem if you're already running 45 flat indoors at this point in the season. This is going to be a serious problem, and huge shout outs to McCrae for what he's doing. I'm going to be definitely looking out to see if he's able to run 44.7 maybe when we get to NCAAs, or maybe when we get to SECs, right? He might be a problem there running sub 45 seconds. So huge shout out to It's them there. A couple other things I did want to talk about. Just some triple jump action we did see. Thea Lafond from Dominica. I did a whole video kind of shouting out Thea Lafond. In the triple jump, she got the world lead at 14.60 meters. Huge performance for her. She's been, always in the mix. She got 5th place at the World Championships last year. So Thea Lafond is going to be a problem when we're talking about the triple jump. I'm not sure if Yulimar Rojas is going to be jumping indoors, potentially. We'll see. But also Lianes Perez Hernandez. Perez Hernandez actually got the silver medal, I think, at the World Championships last year in the triple jump. She's already jumped 14.45 meters. So really strong performance for her. We're going to see how things kind of play out. The Cuban women have been putting on in the triple jump. Oh, I'm sorry. Hernandez got the bronze medal in Budapest last year in the triple jump. So shout out to the women triple jumpers. They're, putting in some very, very good work. Both Thea Lafond and Perez Hernandez. Going to see how things kind of unfold as we get to the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow later on this, at the top of March, right? Now, also did want to talk a little bit about the Jamaican men in the jumps. This has been a big problem. The Jamaican men have been cooking. Wayne Pinnock, 8.34 meters in the long jump. Kerry McLeod, 8.2 meters in the long jump. Both of them leading the world right now. Wayne Pinnock got the silver medal in the long jump in Budapest last year. And then Kerry McLeod, he got 4th place in the long jump in Budapest last year. Jamaica is really coming for like, they're coming from some heads when we're talking about the long jump. When we're talking about the field events, they got shot putters, they got distance runners, they got everyone across the board. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen. Wayne Pinnock could be he's only 23 years old at this point. He could be one of the next great long jumpers if he's not already in that conversation, right? We're talking about, potentially getting into that high 8 range. 8 meter range. I want to see some of those guys jumping 8.5 meters, 8.6 meters, 8.7. I want to see guys back in that range. And I think Wayne Pinnock, as well as Kerry McLeod, of course, Tentaglu, they're all in that range to get back onto that, those upper echelon of the long jump again, to bring things back. So we're going to see what kind of plays out with the men's long jump. And then also shout out to Akila Smith as well. She got the, not the triple jump, actually in the long jump, but Akila Smith in the long jump on the women's side for Jamaica. She jumped 6.85 meters. Tara Davis Woodhall got the world lead in Boston, 6.86 meters. But just kind of highlighting that the Jamaicans are coming in the field events. They are coming in the field events. So huge shout outs to all the Jamaicans and what they've been doing in the field events. But yeah, those are some of the results I did want to highlight. Also, of course, check out the video I dropped this morning about Femke Bol, of course, her potential in the some potential in the 400 meters to break that world record. I think she's very much in conversation to break the world record in the 400. Of course, she's been dominating, so I'm going to see what she's going to be able to put down. I think I'm pretty sure at the Dutch Championships in 2 weeks, that's where she's probably really going to go for the 400 meter world record. And sub 48.9 seconds is very much in the cards for Femke Bol. All right, so let me get to some of these comments. I know we're diving into kind of Shawnee Miller-Weibo as well as Gabby Thomas. So let me pull up what we said here. So let's see. So Shawnee Miller-Weibo, yeah. So Shawnee Miller-Weibo, actually do, if you haven't already, definitely, let me see if I can pull it up. I already did a video on Shawnee Miller-Weibo, and I actually got a chance to speak with her not too long ago, at Budapest. And she explicitly said that she's deciding between the 400 as well as the 200. And I'm pretty let me not say I'm confident. I think she's going to run the 400 when we get to Tokyo. I definitely agree. I think she's going to run the 400. The thing is, she's going for some history, right? I think she wants to get that 3 consecutive gold medals at the Olympic Games. And even if she doesn't get 3 consecutive gold medals, I think she wants to just get 3 medals of any color at the Olympic Games. The 200 is going to be very, very stacked. And we saw, unfortunately, what happened when Shawnee tried to double at the Tokyo Olympics last year. Even despite being one of the best in history, running 21.74 seconds, back in 2019, Shawnee Miller-Weibo, the 200 is a different beast. So I think she's going to go for the 400. In my opinion, Shawnee Miller-Weibo is arguably, she's top 5 all time in the 400 in terms of just like career accolades. So really excited to see what's going to unfold. And yeah, a little talk about Gabby Thomas. Yeah, Gabby will be okay if you're satisfied with a perpetual silver or bronze. Listen, don't sleep on Gabby Thomas and what she's capable of. Gabby Thomas has run, I mean, I laid it out all in this video and we kind of spoke about it some previous times as well, but Gabby Thomas has run 21.60 seconds. She has a potential to get down to 21.5 and 21.4. If you're being technical, on a technical basis, she actually has run 21.5 if you want to do conversions for when we're talking about conversions, 21.60 into a negative, 0.4 meter per second headwind. Gabby Thomas has technically run 21.5. Now, it's not the same level as Shericka Jackson consistently running 21.4s, through in and throughout. But I honestly would not be surprised if Gabby Thomas found a way to get gold. Yes, I'm not picking her right now for gold. I clearly would say that Shericka Jackson is the gold medal favorite, but don't sleep on Gabby Thomas. Don't sleep on Elaine Thompson-Herah. Don't sleep on anyone when we're talking about these events. The fact of the matter is anyone can win on any day, right? Actually, an important note is that Gabby Thomas, when she was check out the interview again on Sidious Mag that we did with Gabby Thomas, and she actually said that she wasn't feeling too well in Boston. She was a little bit sick. Tamara Clark got sick, her training partner, and had to pull out of the meet. But Gabby Thomas was a little bit sick. She was a little bit tired from a lot of volunteering opportunities that she had to tend to, both in Texas and in Boston. But she essentially said, "This is what I have to prepare for at the Olympics. It doesn't matter what's happening on the day. I could be sick, I could be tired, I could be whatever. But if I'm on the line, I have to be on the line in the Olympics, and I just have to run my best." So shout out to Gabby Thomas for really kind of putting herself out there and doing what she needs to do. So we're gonna see what actually happens. Yeah, okay, Gabby will medal. It just won't be gold. Listen, I know. Again, I'm not necessarily picking Gabby for gold right now in the 200, but who knows? I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. We're gonna see. Gabby could lose to Mboma, Shericka, Lane, Steiner, etc. Even Sha'Carri, I think, will drop her times. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, this is making the assumption that everyone else does amazing and then Gabby Thomas does bad, right? Like all these things have to come into play. If we stay static, right? If we just stay even as we are right now, then of course Shericka Jackson would be gold. Elaine Thompson-Herah is kind of up and down. We have to see if she's healthy. And then Gabby Thomas is there, right? Like, again, if we just stay static, all these things have to come into play. Mboma has to get better, right? She had to, undergo the testosterone things to, adjust for that. Abby Steiner has to get better. Abby Steiner has only run 21.7. She still has to get better than Gabby Thomas. Sha'Carri Richardson still has to run faster. Sha'Carri Richardson has only run 21.9. She hasn't even run 21.8 yet. So all these things have to come into play when we're talking about X athlete can beat X athlete, right? All these things have to be perfect. But we're going to see how things kind of play out. We're going to see how things kind of play out. And again, if you haven't already, do check out the video that I did on Gabby Thomas. I speak exactly about this. Sure, Gabby Thomas doesn't improve her times after trials. To me, that doesn't matter because she gets onto the podium. If you're going to say that she doesn't run fast outside of Eugene, then beat her outside of Eugene. Shericka Jackson beats her for sure, right? She's already beat her. But you can run as fast as you want, but if you're not running as fast as you need to in the final, then it doesn't matter. Gabby Thomas has a silver medal at the World Championships. She has a bronze medal at the Olympic Games. Doesn't matter if that medal didn't come with a 21.6 when she ran it. She got the medal. So you have to beat the person on the day, and that's what matters. So I know talking about Gabby Thomas. I don't know if I appreciate all the Gabby Thomas slander. Not again. I'm not saying I'm picking her for gold, but it's like, yo, I got to put into perspective just like all these intangibles. If you're going to say that someone can actually beat another athlete, then you have to assume that all these other athletes do amazing and another athlete, doesn't do well. So we're gonna see how things kind of play out. We're gonna see how things kind of play out. Yeah. So a couple other comments I want to get to. So best sprinters in the world, I'm gonna just bring me up here. So best sprinters in the world don't long jump anymore. Yeah, it's true, right? Carl Lewis, of course, he was a consummate sprinter and long jumper. I even remember, I feel like Dwight Phillips. If you remember Dwight Phillips, the Olympic champion from 2004, multiple four-time world champion in the long jump. He was a decent sprinter as well. He was always kind of sticking himself onto the track. But yeah, I mean, the best sprinters don't long jump anymore. That'd be amazing, right? You have Jerian Lawson. He was a NCAA champion in the 100, the 200, and the long jump. He's only long jumping now, so I don't know if we had some of these top sprinters actually long jumping, that might have, made things a lot better in terms of the state of the men's long jump. But is there a reason why the men are not long jumping like Carl and Powell? I think the big factor here is that the competition isn't there right now, right? We're not seeing as many guys actually stepping things up. So if you remember back in the 80s, Carl Lewis stepped things up big time back in the 80s. And I think that brought a wave of athletes into the long jump who were like, oh, I'm capable of doing something big, right? After Bob Beamon jumped his 8.90 meter jump back in 1968, then Carl Lewis came around and he was starting to jump, super consistent, 8.7s, 8.8s. And then Mike Powell was like, oh, nah, let me take advantage here. And then he jumped his world record. But I just don't think, I think people are reverting to the mean when it's like, okay, 8.5 meters can win me a gold. I'm going to do 8.5. 8.6 might be great, but I don't have to do it. I don't know. But I really want to see guys jumping back in those, that at least 8.6 meters consistently. That's at least what I want to see when we're talking about the men's long jump. But we're going to see. We're going to see. And then also, I did see some comments about, I think it was Abby Steiner. Shout out to Abby Steiner. Abby Steiner is, she's coming back from surgery. She had injury on her, I think it was her heel last season. So she dealt with some setbacks, didn't make the world championship team, had to get surgery. Abby Steiner is one. Like I said, check out the video I did on Gabby Thomas and kind of the women's 200 meter dash. Abby Steiner is very much going to be in the mix. Abby Steiner has run 21.80 seconds in the 200. She's run 21.77 seconds. And I think she can very well get down to 21.6. Now, she does have to translate that to the world championships. She went to, Eugene 2022. She finished in, fifth place, I think, at the World Championships in the 200. She's going to have to translate that. And that goes back to my point about Gabby Thomas. Gabby Thomas, sure, she may only run, quote unquote, those fast times, those 21.6s in Eugene, but she gets on the podium. So, I mean, listen, I'm excited to see, though. I'm excited just overall for the women's 200 meter dash to kind of see how things play out overall. So really, really excited to get there. All right. Yeah. A couple other comments as we kind of close out. Yeah. Let me know if there's anything else I wanted to, I wanted to talk about. Okay, going back to the long jump. Yeah, Kareem C. Thompson, shout out to Athletics LLC. He attributes it to the current jumpers not having great technique. Yeah, that's a good point. I'm not a coach, and I'm not like a long jump coach, even more so. So I definitely encourage you to check out Athletics LLC. They are insane in terms of the breakdowns and all that. So yeah, it's probably that, right? Improving that technique. They just had a great episode this past weekend talking about the long jump boards and all that controversy. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what happens with the men's long jump. But all right, so yeah, a couple others. And yeah, we're closing out. I mean, we're going to have the Millrose games coming up this weekend in New York City on Sunday. As always, be sure to check out Sidious Mag. If you're not, be sure to subscribe to their channel. A lot of content always coming up. Be sure to subscribe to them on YouTube, on Instagram, on Threads, on Twitter, on all kind of platforms there. Yeah, going to be exciting. I'm really excited. I'm excited for this men's 60 meter dash. Christian Coleman is going to be running. Hoah Lyles and Coleman are going to be at USA's going for the world indoor title. We're going to see how things play out. This is going to be a crazy, crazy kind of year. We're talking about that. Oh yeah. And then last one, definitely have to highlight that. Femke Bol is she a real threat? Yeah. So just to give another shout out to the video, of course, that I put out this morning, Femke Bol, right? She's a threat. She is serious. I don't check out the video, of course, but I think she's going to break the world indoor record. I think she's on pace to do so, potentially at the Dutch Championships, which is going down in 2 weeks. I also think that outdoors, she's on pace for 50.9 seconds in the 400 meter hurdles. Remember, she changed her technique over the hurdles last year. And that was her first year. She was actually going at, I think it was 14 steps. So combined with her increased speed, she set a 200 meter personal best indoors. I think she is very much on pace to break the world indoor record as well as run sub 51 seconds in the hurdles outdoors. Now, do I think she's going to beat Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, assuming Sydney runs the 400 meter hurdles? I'm not going to predict that. I think that Sydney is the clear favorite in the 400 meter hurdles. But Femke Bol is putting up a good run for her money, and she wants to prove that, I am in this mix, right? don't say that I'm like a quote unquote fake gold medalist just because, Sadie McLaughlin-Lavroni wasn't in the race. Femke Bol wants to prove that she is one of the greatest of all time. And listen, she's starting off with this indoor season. So look out for Femke Bol. I'm excited to see kind of how she plays things out the rest of the season. But yeah, this was good kind of chat for this week, y'all. A lot of results that went down. Again, be sure to follow Sidious Mag to check out a lot of content coming over the next couple weeks. I'm going to be obviously I'm here in New York City, but I'm going to be going to the Millrose games this coming weekend. And then in a couple weeks, we have the World Indoor Championship. So look out for that. But always appreciate y'all. And yeah, we'll be back next week for another amazing show. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.